afternoon. I am so excited to be here talking about building HR systems for work for women. We're talking about women. And I have my girl, Krystyn Sadler. Krystyn, please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Hello, Krystyn Sadler. I've been in this industry for 15 years. I got two boys, 7 and 10, Austin and Garrett. So working mom. Started my career in HR, and what was it? About 5 years ago, became president, and then 2 years ago, CEO. So
Yes.
that's my story. Nashville,
Yes,
Tennessee. I'm going to add that.
that's right. But you haven't told us where you are the CEO of, Miss Sadler.
Oh, geez. Well, shame on me. I can already hear marketing calling me after this. And that
Absolutely, they
is
will.
Mosaic Consulting Group.
That's
Yeah, love
right.
it.
Yes. Big mosaic in the house. Thank you. I wanted to just grab some of your time and chat with you about your perspective about how HR historically has been a woman-led space. And if you agree with that, tell me why.
I do agree with that because we can handle it.
Hmm.
Human resources and the history of human resources is comes with a lot of empathy and a lot of strength. And I know we've had this conversation. You know my love that I have for human resources, people, culture. It takes thick skin. It takes empathy. It takes patience. And what I love is the progress of what, personnel, all the way to human resources, all the way to people and culture. That progress is absolutely incredible and really represents what that department or what that team does within an organization.
Sure
And
does.
so I love the fact that it is dominated by women. And what I don't love is that tends to be the only executive seat you usually see women at. So there used to be points in time where I talk about, let's make some space, let's create that seat at the table. And I'll never forget earning that seat at the table as well as the head of HR. And so I have a lot of fond memories, a lot of great stories that may be served for a different time. But yeah, absolutely. When you show up, there's a lot of strength within seeing amazing female leaders walking in that space.
That's right. And what do you think the reason is, right? Like if we look at HR professionals and being a very woman dominated space, give me your take on that. Like why is HR so flooded with us?
What's interesting when I think about human resources and I'm kind of separating in my mind from payroll,
Hmm.
there's an aspect there where like colleges and universities started having HR tracks. I remember for undergrad, I was able to graduate with a dual degree,
Hmm.
and there's a business management and human resources. If you go psychology, you see IO Psych, which is very comparable, right? Even when you look at the class size and when you think about who's pursuing that type of degree, it's still there's a majority of women that are looking to go into HR. And so the reason why it's so interesting, because when you look in the world of finance or even truly tech, you see more males. And so it is interesting to kind of think about like what draws somebody there. I think at the end of the day, women are built to help and take care and to love and
Right.
have passion. And good Lord, you need every bit of that in HR, along with
Absolutely.
strength and confidence as
Confidence.
well.
I agree with that. And I'll take that answer. Thank you very much. I'll
Well,
apply that
I don't know if I would
to
say
myself.
this,
Yeah.
but I got there.
No,
Yeah.
you got it. Absolutely, girl. You got it. So when you think about what you've seen and what you've experienced, Krystyn, how do HR systems either support or drain us?
Ooh, great question. Of course, my mind goes in two different spots. There's an aspect of how do women progress their career and performance management and development and the opportunities that are there. And there's still a ton of research that shows us that even over the last 10 years, there hasn't been a lot of progress made between that first early entry into management. You still see for every 100 men that progress, there's 81 women that progress. And so there's still a gap. And there hasn't been as much progress on closing that gap, I think, than most of us would like to see.
Mhm.
So when I think about systems and how we set them up and how, HR teams set them up, what I love about team HRs is there's this like fairness meter that you can't quite articulate, but like if it's off balance, we go a little crazy. Just a little. And so when we think about like pay equity, we think about the opportunities of advancing anybody, like how that happens and the progress that you make, it really comes down to truly like how are you setting up some of those performance management and development systems, right? You have people raising their hand saying, I want in on that development program, I want in on that next level up program. And how are they able to raise their hand? How are they able to get that fair shake? So when we think about setting up those systems, it has to be set up from a fairness meter. which is hard to do, right? Again, there's still a lot of progress that can be made there, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of the clear expectations and how we evaluate and how do we eliminate those bias, I mean, that plays a huge role in that. Then there's another, and my head goes this way, which this gets into like the concept of women's lives and what we're faced with on a day to day. And when you think about, I mean, I'm gonna say all the things, right? Work a mom. We've
Please.
got, you have people who have aging parents. You have people who have the fur babies, right? They count too. I get that question a lot.
Yep.
You think about menopause. You think about whatever else that comes into that world. So when we think about systems and how it supports that, which I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are like me too. I have that same thing. Me too.
Right. We all
But
do.
again, studies still show a lot of women carry the responsibility of home on their backs as well as, being a working parent. So I
Yeah.
think about flexibility when I
Yeah.
think about how do we set up systems and it comes to whether it shifts, whether it comes to, PTO, when I can take that PTO to be able to support, going and seeing my kids and chaperoning.
So when you think about technology and how we use it to make our lives easier, whether that is in an HR capacity, a tech capacity, or just day to day, right? I would love to know what your go to is to make your work or your life easier. What tech do you use to make you so dang on great every day?
AI is helping drive efficiency. And so Copilot, which is our adopted, methodology and what Mosaic uses,
Mhm.
along with my exceptional, amazing EA. It is amazing,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, Kelsey, you keep me honest every day where I'm going to be. But there is a huge portion of being able to leverage AI in my everyday, which has been phenomenal. And so what I find is it's reducing some of the more administrative items and being able to kind of clear up some more think space. And
Yeah.
that think space and that reading time and that development time is super important, especially as we're talking about, growing an organization year over year. I need
Yes.
more think space. So I
Yes.
leverage AI to the best of my abilities. My team does an even better job at that. Thank goodness. So that is my go-to in this moment.
Something that you said just triggered my thought. When you think about utilizing AI, it sounds like that also breeds extended self confidence. When you
Mm,
have the time to set aside to think and process, you then become stronger and more confident in the way you execute. Is that right? Or am I just totally wrong?
absolutely correct. I think at the end of last year, we had a chance to kind of join forces, see each other in action. One of the items that I did last year was host a She Inspires 100 person or 100 women come together, be able to share a little bit of my leadership journey and be able to kind of have one message. And it's trust your instincts and take the risk. And so there's an aspect there where as females, like, right, we are grounded to, so much care of other people and, fairness meters and how is this person doing or feeling? At the end of the day, there's going to be times and points in your career where like your gut's telling you something, the numbers might not quite match. You not might be able to put your finger on it on a P&L or a whatever report. And at the end of the day, there's what I would love to see is more women trust that instinct because let's be real, it's usually correct.
Yeah.
And it is okay to take risk. And that's actually where growth is. When you're uncomfortable, that's a positive thing. So yeah, absolutely agree with that.
Is there anything you want our women to hear from you and your final thoughts as we close out this spotlight?
When we talk so much about lifting each other up, when we talk about how we support each other, how we show up for each other, how do your actions support that? And what I
Mm.
love is what you're doing right now. This is a lift up, right? You are lifting somebody else up. You're lifting me up. You're lifting other speakers up. Um, how do your actions support that? And so here's a great month to celebrate that. We can do through systems. We can do it through words. We can do it through actions. So just what's that call to action? What's that challenge is how are your actions supporting lifting other leaders up? And I'm finding in this ecosystem, there's so much space for that. At
Yes.
the end of the day, we have a similar journey. And
Yes.
so again, how do you find the space to lift each other
Yes.
up? So thank you for doing this.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
thank you for joining me on this.